Hey guys, it's time for another Tropical Haunts behind the scenes. Today's episode is going to be about the Mel-Meter. The Mel-Meter, you guys have seen me use this frequently in a lot of my investigations. Details, just a sec. Alright, hey guys, welcome back. So the Mel-Meter, the one that I use all the time on my investigations, the one you guys see on the benches and the ones that light up, and I get a lot of responses to. This is what I use the Mel-Meter. Now the Mel-Meter is basically an EMF meter. This one has a triple function. We're going to go through all of that in just a sec on what I like to call, and we're going to call from now on, the tech table. Alright, so let's take our device, the Mel-Meter, and let's go to the tech table, and we'll go over all these functions. So when we're in the field and we're doing investigations and I tell you guys I'm going to put this out and that out, whatever, slowly on behind the scenes we'll go over a lot of these devices I use so you understand all the functions. So you're not confused when I say I'm going to put this on the bench or that on the bench, so you know exactly what I'm talking about and what it's capable of doing. So we're going to go over all those functions right now. So alright, let's head over to the tech table. Ben, what's that you got there? Yeah, you want me to tell them? Yeah? Where is it? Right there? Is it right there? Then again, is it right here? Yeah, that's where it is? Alright. Alright guys, let's see what he's got to say. Let's see. Oh, okay. Finnegan wants you to please like and subscribe and comment if you enjoy the video. Alright. Thanks, Finn. Okay, thank you. Alright, here we are at the tech table. So today's device is, as I mentioned earlier in the intro, is the Mel-Meter. The Mel-Meter. Now the Mel-Meter was created by a gentleman called Gary Gauka. Now I think the story goes, or the origin story goes, that he was grieving family and he created a device that he thought could help him know whether or not they were there in the home with him and whether or not he was contacting him. So this is the Mel-Meter. So that, now there is a basic model of this which is just the EMF. This is an advanced model that has the EMF detector, the REM pod, which is a proximity alert, and the temperature gauge. Now this one it's pretty simple to operate. You turn it on and the basic primary function is, once you turn it on, hopefully I haven't killed the battery already. There we go. So you'll see here that it comes on, and since I have the temperature module in it, it automatically displays temperature on there. 73.6 degrees in the house. Now, the primary function of this is an EMF meter. So what that does is detect electromagnetic fields, which is generated by electric devices, your appliances, your computers, and believe it or not, your cell phone. Your cell phone has a large electromagnetic field to it. You'll see it fluctuates. This thing is constantly monitoring, working, going through apps, downloading on the internet. So this thing exposes your head, your face, whatever's close to it, to an electromagnetic field all the time. So I'm not a doctor, nor an engineer or a physicist, so I have no idea how harmful that is to a human being. I do know that you are exposed to one. If you have a cell phone, you're exposed to one constantly. Okay. You also have electromagnetic fields in your home from your appliances, your lamps, lights, anything that has electric field. Your power strips, everything is going to have an EMF field off of it. So that is the primary function of this device. That's why it was originally created. And then they realized that if you were going to be ghost hunting, that other functions on this thing would be useful. And one of those is the temperature gauge. So the temperature gauge on this one, I primarily keep this module unplugged because as soon as you turn the unit on, it immediately starts working and it draws the battery down very quickly. Now I have no idea why that particular module kills the battery so quickly, but it does. So you leave that on and it monitors the temperature, and you see right now it's 73.5 degrees. Now, if a spirit, most paranormal investigators believe spirits come by, they lower the temperature. So this, let's pretend this ice bag is a spirit and it comes hanging out, and it's coming by your device, and it goes, hey, what is this? And it gets close to this device. You'll see that device is quickly declining into the 40s, and it will quickly go into the 30s, because of course it's an ice cube, so it's, you know, freezing. So now this is through an ice bag, so it's not, you know, perfect, but you can see that it does indeed monitor temperature. So ghost goes away. He's bored. He doesn't want to look at me anymore. He doesn't listen to me drone on about talking to him and all that. So he's off. He goes, and you'll see the temperature steadily climbs back up to room temperature. And you'll see it slowly climbs up. So again, I typically do not use that, but it's kind of useful. But I have an environmental device that I use that will do a behind the scenes on probably next. So you can see it's pretty awesome actually. It monitors temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, EMF. It does. It's a very cool device. So this is climbing back up to room temperature, and there we go. We're back up almost to 70. And my home normally is around 73, 74. So there you go, climbing back up. We're almost to 72 degrees. So you can see this thing's pretty accurate, because I know my thermostat over there is set at, I believe, 72 today, maybe 73. So this thing's pretty accurate. Now, the last function that this thing has is the one that you guys are probably most familiar with. I'm going to move my phone in case it starts going off and flashing. So the last function of this thing you guys are more familiar with than anything is the REM pod function that we use with the antenna up, and you have to turn that function on. You have to come back here and you have to turn that. Oh, this also has an alert for the temperature. If I turn the alert on when the temperature drops, I think it's 10 degrees, this thing will actually give me a light and a visual alarm, letting me know that the temperature has dropped significantly. So that's kind of a cool thing too. And the last, like I said, the last thing here is the REM pod, which you guys are pretty familiar with. It takes a moment for it to calibrate, and then I set the range, which just think of a large bubble around the antenna. I can increase that bubble or decrease that bubble, and I keep that bubble pretty tight, because if anything's going to interact with this device, I want it very close. So you'll see my thumb is right there. So it interacts pretty quick. All right. So that is the REM pod. I'm going to turn that off, that thing. When I'm holding it, that thing goes bananas. Okay, you guys have seen that many times. So I'm going to turn this off. Okay, to conserve my battery, turn my antenna down. So that is the 3 functions that this particular device does. Now it does have has an AC adapter, which is pretty cool. You can I think you can buy a battery pack for it. You can also zero the temperature. You can expand the temperature from 10 or 20 degrees. You can also put a like I said, you can also expand the range of your REM pod. So that is the Mel-Meter, and that is basically everything this thing will do, every function this thing has. Again, you get one of these. You can get one of these off the internet. Just a straight EMF meter. It doesn't have to be this particular model Mel-Meter. You can get EMF meters as low as, I think, $45–50. I have one that's just straight up Mel-Meter, EMF meter that has a big light on it. It's called the ghost meter, but it's basically an EMF meter. You can walk around your house. You can kind of get baseline of what sort of EMF you have in your home, because I don't know, but I've been told a high EMF field in your house is really not that healthy. Again, I don't know. Now, last thing before we leave the tech table is, if any of these devices that you see that I highlight on behind the scenes, you can get these devices from a dealer that's called Ghost Stop in St. Cloud, Florida. Now, these guys do not sponsor me in any way. I don't know them personally, but I have ordered many, many things from them. Most of the devices you see in my bag and all the things you see me put out in the streets or whatever I use, monitoring devices, probably the chances are, high chances, I purchased from those guys. So those are the people I get my devices from, and like I said, they are extraordinarily good. I have been 100% satisfied with them since day one. So go stop St. Cloud, Florida. All right, guys, that's it for Tech Table. Guys, we had the Tech Table. We went over our little Mel-Meter device, so everybody knows what it does, what it can do, where we can get it at. So from now on, so when we're using the little Mel-Meter, you guys will know exactly what it'll do and why we're using it. And you can leave comments and you can say, hey, why don't you have the temperature module on your Mel-Meter? Why don't you expand your REM pod? Why don't you focus on the temperature more when you're doing your investigations? You guys can leave comments, because when I get out on the field and I start doing investigations, I got things going on. I got people running around. I got spirits talking to me. I forget to do some things that would probably be useful in our investigations. So you guys can help me from now on. As you learn this equipment, you can start thinking about, if I neglect to use a certain function, you can go, hey, why don't you do so-and-so? And maybe it'll be a little better. I got a super cool plan for Halloween. Now I'm trying to make reservations and make it happen for the Halloween season. And if it falls through, I'll let you know. So I'm not going to say anything right now about what it is exactly, but I'm trying to set something up really, really exciting for Halloween. So all right, guys, so that's it for today. So be good to each other, take care of each other, and I will see you on the next one.